priest.
Elise priest. So this one, settle down, guys. Could be a long one. Grimscale Chum does not necessarily mean this deck is all in either. We've seen Onyxias, we've seen Deathwings, we've seen all that. And so even though it gets a fast start, the Paladin, it can just keep churning out good stuff for the entire game, and the priest can deal with a lot of that stuff.
It's very hard to call a Paladin all in nowadays, exactly as you're saying, because Paladin are just able to keep getting more stuff. Thanks to the Curator, the Paladin can draw even more things as time goes on. Twilight Drake, not actually a card we commonly see in Priest at all. We saw a Priest just earlier on today, a Control Priest with some Dragons in, but we didn't see any Twilight Drake. That's indicative of a very Dragon-y style Priest.
Yeah, and it's going to drag on quite extensively, I suspect, with that Elise in the deck for doing the same thing that all decks seem to need to do now, is find that extra mid-game push for more things in the deck and for more threats, because one of the things in the modern game now is decks don't just finish how they start anymore. You generate more threats as you go with Glyph, with Elise, with cards along those lines.
Yep.
Cards like Primordial Drake don't generate more cards, but they generate big hand sizes. And so people are finding more and more ways to get an early one drop to get the game going, but also to keep that going throughout the whole game.
Speaking of early one drops, though, let's just take a look at Waning Moon's hand here. 3 1-mana Murlocs. He's kind of just got his pick of the litter now.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how he goes about this. Obviously, you want to go with the Chum, but not into a Northshire Cleric. Double Vilefin just feels like it's asking for trouble. Vilefin Chum's asking for them to get potioned. They have no idea what sort of priest they're up against, which can matter. So I feel we might not even see the coin here. He may just delay and see how things progress, yeah.
That's a good point. Lots to consider playing around against the priest. I hadn't considered Potion of Madness, but that would have been a complete disaster for Waning Moon. I like just playing the one Inquisitor here. Ideally, they can get the Grimescale Chum to buff up the Bluegill Warrior.
Right.
And play that next turn and get rid of the Cleric immediately.
Now, this is a thing that new players are too scared of sometimes, is playing that Inquisitor into the Northshire Cleric and letting your opponents get that one card. It's one card. You don't want them to have it, but now we can get rid of the Northshire Cleric and progress with life.
It also uses up their entire turn just drawing a card and just healing it up. And now, Waning Moon has a few options. He can just coin out the Murloc War Leader, get the guaranteed quick kill on the Northshire Cleric. That does seem strong.
Yeah, keeping that board intact, keeping back the Bluegill for much needed removal. Paladin doesn't have much outside of its weapons. It doesn't need much because it has these really annoying Murlocs, but yeah, it tends not to have enough removal, so keeping the Bluegill for a bit of removal is often very handy, especially going into a Priest on turn 3, which can have a 3/4, which you can now kill with the Bluegill.
So Shadowword Pain looks likely.
Yeah, you need to get rid of that War Leader. Then you've got to decide whether you want to play your Northshire Cleric. You do, because you think your opponents have set up killing the first one with this War Leader, and probably not expecting to have the Bluegill as well.
Yeah, so you don't play around...
They did.
You don't play around the second War Leader, I was going to say. And
actually, was the hang on, was the War Leader top decked?
It was.
Okay, so they know there's another answer in hand then.
Oh, okay, because of the setup earlier.
Yeah.
Very good spot there. It's just the War Leader ended up being a better setup, a better answer.
Yeah.
So Philippines played that instead, but that Bluegill Warrior is just going to have to sit there and do nothing. I doubt that South Korea would expect Bluegill Warrior specifically. It's not a card that you see in many of the Paladin decks at all.
Also, keeping it in hand means this Twilight Drake's going to be bigger next turn, so it's not much of a waste. Quite often with your second Northshire, you don't want to just throw it onto the table and get it killed anyway. You'd rather play it when something's already injured in the mid-game to draw yourself some more cards guaranteed.
And it shows that Waning Moon does have some mid to late game potential here, because he is running the Stonehill Defender. These aren't the best set of picks, though. Wicker Flame Burn Bristle, not too elegant against Priest. I think you have to pick the Drake. Drake is okay against Priest.
Yes, it is.
4 attack, and it's Dragonness. There you go. I'll put my pound in the Priest swear jar right now.
Yeah, just as a point we do have to keep making if new people are watching and Priests find it incredibly hard to deal with 4 attack minions.
Shadowword Pain, nope. Death, nope. Dragonfire Potion, nope. That won't do it either.
Yeah, basically unkillable except by trading, which is why we've got cards like Twilight Drake in the Priest deck to try and sort of fill that gap in.
It also just helps out in the mirror slightly.
Right, so Kranich can take his time here. There's no immediate threat of anything really coming off, off the hand. The worst that could happen to them would be what, a Megasaur? Yeah.
Yeah.
Shadow Word Death, that.
Yeah, Megasaur is kind of a problem if it gives the attack buff on the Valfin Inquisitor, because then one Shadow Word Death wouldn't quite be good enough.
Lots of options here to take it slowly if they want.
And you got to consider the Megasaur too, because if you take Twilight Drake, and then they have a Megasaur, and then get Poisonous, then that's a problem, because you just lost your minion for free. Priest of the Feast looks like a good middle ground. It's not the most valuable card in this matchup.
It's interesting. I wonder if he's playing here a little bit around True Silver Champion and just putting down the thing that's a 3/6 instead of a 4/6, so that if the champion comes down, the clear happens. You can just play the 4/6 instead of the 3/6,
Sure.
basically.
It's not going to be True Silver Champion though. It's going to be Blessing of Kings, and now there's a 5/3 on the board that may have to be Shadow Word Death. Although, with the Dragonfire Potion pickup, Kranich may consider just biding his time, maybe playing Netherspire Historian.
I actually wonder if that encourages him to play the Death, because now he's not so scared of Megasaur.
Okay.
Because he has that Dragonfire Potion. And even Tyrion, sure, it doesn't die to the Dragonfire, but you make a big hole in his head.
Hang on a sec. Northshire Cleric. Is he going to heal up the Stonehill Defender? Because that's certainly a possibility. You play the Netherspire Historian, you play the Northshire Cleric, you get the draw, and then next turn you just Dragonfire Potion.
Draconian Operative seems like a snap pick, and indeed it is. He's just taking a moment to make it not look like a snap pick.
Yeah, that's about as much of a snap pick as you get in the Hearthstone Global games.
So both these two going to war over long-term value, and one of the keys will be that Elise we saw earlier on. If she can get it played and get that pack into the deck with Shadow Visions going on, that's a huge amount of value that South Korea can have. So South Korea are like the Philippines are playing the long game because they've got Tyrion. South Korea are playing the super long game because they have the best of it when it gets to turn 25 or something.
Right, Kranich goes with your play. He does end up playing the Shadow Word Death. Going to save that Dragonfire Potion, try and use it a little bit later. Yeah, priests, especially with Draconid Operative, they're pretty good at playing the super long game. They're pretty good at taking resources from their opponent's deck and outlasting them. They won't be able to get Tyrion with the Draconid Operative. And that's important, because if you can just keep getting Tyrions from that card, then you just win the game.
Strange that, isn't it? Strange how getting one of the best cards in the game and stealing it from your opponent to equalise the situation turns out.
Pretty funny. Pretty big coincidence. We're going to buff a blue.
Chum coming in a bit later than expected, but buffing up a blue girl. There's 2 shots at it there out of 3, so definitely a valuable play.
I was surprised that Waning Moon didn't play the Inquisitor first to guarantee the proc on a blue gill warrior, but guess he wants to play that to generate lots of minions later on before Omega.
Yeah, I feel that this is enough board for them.
Okay, there's Potion.
Yeah.
It's one of the most powerful cards against Paladin. Fits the curve nicely too. Ooh, let's take a look at my opponent's deck to find favor.
There's Divine Favor in there.
Hunter. Yeah, okay.
Divine Favor works so horribly with the likes of Tyrion and Drakes and such like that. I doubt there's actually that much heavy game in here.
Yeah, that's got to be pretty much it. And now South Korea, with the knowledge that there is a Divine Favor, will probably try and keep their hand from getting out of control. They're not going to want to give Waning Moon too many cards, if possible. So maybe try and keep maximum of 5 or 6 cards seems like the way to go.
Yeah, it seems reasonable to me.
Stonehill Defender also doesn't synergize that well with Divine Favor.
Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe it is just so they've got some extra play against some of the more long-term decks like Taunt Warrior, which just can't empty its hand. Maybe they're not using it to empty their hand and refill. Maybe they're using it just to get 2 or 3 cards against some of their not-so-fun matchups. Kranich, of course, is in China. He's yet again qualified for a championship event in Hearthstone. He's already been to 2 World Championships. Now he's gone to Shanghai to play in the Spring Championships.
He's hogging all the spaces.
He really is. It's like a 15-man event when Kranich is about.
He's going to be bringing Murloc, Paladin, Quest Rogue, Aggro Druid, and Secret Mage to Shanghai.
Yeah, Kranich will just play what Kranich needs to play on the day, and that's how he sees the meta. There's a lot of different things going on there. That, of course, is available on this channel over the coming weekend. They'll be battling it out for the spring title. And I'm going to go out there. I'm not going to sit on the fence and say it is the most stacked lineup we have ever had for that event. And I've insulted some of the past contenders. I am sorry, but this lineup is ridiculous because all 4 regions got some of their best players through.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, just from the first playoffs, the European ones, you could see from the quality of that lineup that it was going to be a great event, and it just kept getting better and better. As we were saying earlier today, mammoth week of Hearthstone coming up. 2 days of HGG with 6 series per day, and then HCT this weekend. But back to the game.
There's that cleric they've been saving for so long, and it's going to work so well with this Twilight Drake. Just a case of where they're scared of Equality Consecration, but they've seen that Divine Favour, which means that Equality Consecration is less likely, because you don't want those cards sitting around in your hand.
Yeah. I think with what Kranich has seen, he can pretty much count Equality out. He now does have the chance of grabbing a Tyrion with Curious Glimmerroot, as that doesn't just fetch from cards remaining in the deck, fetches from any card that started in the deck. And that, okay, well there you go. Now he can roll Equality out 100%.
Yeah.
Look at that smile there.
And he knows it. He's very pleased to see that. I think he would already have worked it out, but the confirmation is always nice. That means they can start making a big board with this. And Philippines, though, they will have the power of Tyrion coming up, but just a little issue with running out of steam. They might need to get this Megasaur on the go to clear up this board as soon as they can.
Yeah, I mean, Megasaur looks pretty good right here. You're buffing 5 Murlocs. What do you want to hit? Health looks okay. Poisonous looks okay. Wind Fury, Death Rattle, they both look very solid.
I think the Wind Fury might not be good enough here, because your prime problem is the board.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to kill this priest anytime soon, so maybe go for the plants.
Yeah. Plant seems good. It's also insurance against a Dragonfire Potion. Waning Moon could just go face with everything and then let Kranich do the clearing, and he'd have to work really hard to clear up this. That was fast.
It's a noise that plants make.
Is it?
When they're applied to Murlocs, apparently.
Maybe Dan's Corpse Flower makes that sound.
Yeah, I don't know. I've not got near enough one for that smell, to be honest, to really find out what noise it makes.
A second Dragonfire Potion is going to be very handy for Kranich.
Yeah, and one thing they can do here is just bump into some of these Murlocs and fill the board up, and then just Dragonfire nearly everything away anyway. They'll have 1 or 2 things to face. But
Yeah, I think they can leave the board with 4 plants for Waning Moon. But don't forget, Dragonfire Potion does not hurt Draconid Operative. So Kranich will also have a big minion still on the board. As long as he trades the Cleric
yeah,
and the Glimmerroot into the minions that have more attack so that he conserves the Operative's health.
They can also draw another card as well. They'll try not to use that Shadow Visions. They will try and save that for the Elise pack later on. This sort of deck has to be as greedy as it can. Otherwise, things just... the wheels fall off, basically.
Okay, yeah, that's a perfect way of doing it. I wonder if there could be a mind control in this deck for Kranich.
There definitely could. There may not be, but it's definitely a card that might lurk in here. There may be a Medivh, but probably not, because it looks more of a dragon-centric deck as well.
But mind control, even in the dragon-centric ones, is something that some of the players have been toying with through the weeks. And if there is a mind control, Kranich is going to want one as soon as possible to get rid of these Tyrions. As look how low his health is getting, already down to 15 with a Tyrion on board. 15
health, but does have that gluttonous ooze ready to gobble up and give 5 armor back. So not a total emergency. This first Tyrion. The second Tyrion, however, may be a bit more of a problem.
So is this the turn to play the Shadow Visions, maybe grab a Shadow Word Death and just deal with the Tyrion?
Yeah, I think they might have to. They don't want to, so they will look for other options. But I think they may have to. They've got they will feel they've got a fairly decent position here if they can get rid of Tyrion.
And if there is a mind control, so say Shadow Visions comes up with Shadow Word Death or Mind Control or another card, which one does Kranich pick?
Probably the Death and then play the Ooze and just get the board back.
Just for the instant clear, yeah.
Again, they don't know about that second Tyrion that's lurking around the corner.
Hang on a second, what?
Right, they're happy.
That seemed like a pretty weak Dragonfire Potion to me. It dealt with a few 1/1s and popped the Divine Shield.
Sure, but that's actually enough, right? Because the danger was the extra 4 damage. Going down to 9 is like, meh.
Yeah.
We're going to kill Tyrion next turn. Have more chance of drawing into the Shadow Word Death, which protects our Shadow Vision.
And there's never 9 burst damage, right? Like, they sometimes have Blessing of Kings, they sometimes have True Silver Champions. That's 8. There's never 9.
Not only that, but they've got to deal with the board to stop Tyrion just dying to it. And also, you draw 1 more card. It doesn't have to be the Shadow Word Death. It can be any spell, which makes your Shadow Visions more likely to find the Shadow Word Death.
Right.
So, yeah, they looked for another way to do it, and they found one.
So, Primordial Drake, worth considering here. Gets rid of the Grimscale Charm, allows you to trade Tyrion into the 5/6, then use the Ashbringer to deal with a 3/4. But do you want to be trading here in Waning Moon's position? We've established this is a very aggressive deck. Maybe he just needs to push face.
And play another Tyrion?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah. Tyrion and Tiri 2.
Then again, if he plays the second Tyrion, that Gluttonous Ooze could essentially do with both weapons. If Kranich can trade into both Tyrions and then play the Ooze to get rid of the second Ashbringer, then...
Okay, well they've seen both Dragonfire potions, so...
Sure, yeah, okay. That works for me. There's the Elise that South Korea have been waiting for. I still don't know if Shadow of Death may end up being better than an extra pack here.
Just because of this Ooze, I feel that Shadow of Death's actually okay. But they're going to be okay-ish.
Okay-ish. Shadow of Pain going to do some pretty good work here, getting rid of one of these minions that have a lot of health. True Silver Champion.
Yeah, that's health gain. My eyes were drawn to that as well, but Consecration also very handy against, not necessarily this turn,
that's the
but
problem,
for turns
though.
in the future.
That's the problem. Like, are you taking for this turn, or are you taking for turns in the future? I think there's definitely strong arguments for both.
I feel that this turn you're playing the Ooze anyway.
Yep.
So, do you need that True Silver next turn? What cards might your opponent play next turn that you want to deal with compared to... And there's a healthy reminder of this Divine Favour. If they Divine Favour us now, so they do take the Consecration in case the board gets reloaded with Murlocs. So South Korea think they've stabilised, and they're getting there, but Tyrion number 2.
There's the Divine Favour. It's going to be drawing 2 cards this turn if played, though. Doesn't seem quite good enough.
No,
as you
it's
said,
too slow.
Tyrion number 2 just looks better.
Yeah, there's no immediate, obvious way it can be dealt with.
Should I?
Just trade in the 2/5 into the weak Dragonlord operative. Drop down a 6/6 with Divine Shield. And an Ashbringer.
Korea will be annoyed they've not found a spot to get this Twilight Drake down. They've just been under a little bit too much pressure. There were a couple of turns early on where they could have played it down, but I think they're a little bit scared of equality.
It's been in the hand this entire game, I think. You're right, afraid of cards that didn't end up being in the deck. Another Powered Shield seems like a okay way to start this turn.
Yeah, let's go check to make sure, because they're going to want to try and save mana for Elise.
Ooh, are we going for a...
And so they've got to add everything up to make sure it's okay.
Are we going for a pack this turn, then?
I mean, if you don't do it now, when do you do it, I guess?
Maybe we can get a second Gluttonous Ooze.
Something that happens with Lay on Hands a lot is actually if you don't play it on a slightly risky turn, you never play it, and then you never get to get the whole benefit of all the health gain and all the cards. Well, you got what you wanted.
Are we opening the pack this turn? We can't actually use any of the cards. Well, yeah.
Notice they Power Word Shield last. You don't normally draw last, but they didn't want to draw the pack.
Exactly, yeah.
If
they did, they wanted to draw a second pack, not just one.
They could have Power Word Shielded, however, before playing the Elise, which would have given them a chance of drawing a different spell out of the way, just to enhance their chance of finding it with the Shadow Visions.
Right. That's true. Though with only 12 cards left in the deck, it was probably quite likely regardless.
Or you could go the other way, so with only 12 cards left in the deck, they're more likely to draw one spell and clear it all up.
Sure.
So, yeah. They're playing this really well, though, tidying up the board over and over again, making absolute greediness of their resources. Remember, you and I were thinking they might have to use that Shadow Visions earlier to get the Shadow of Death. They found a way to scarily look after that situation, and that's gained them a pack. Whether that's enough,
yeah, I don't know. A Shadow of Death would look pretty handy here. Primordial Drake going to come down and just put a wall in the way of that Tyrion. Priest of the Feast could be very handy soon. If we get to a point where maybe this board's a little bit more stable, you could Priest of the Feast, then play the pack and just heal a lot of health back up.
Yep. Of course, now that they've been greedy with this Twilight Drake, it's going to be an absolute monster when it does hit the table as well because of this pack. But we don't know how much it would have impacted the board before that.
Right. Divine Favor definitely going to take advantage of the Ungoro pack. If Waning Moon could just hold off on it a little bit longer, maybe play the True Silver Champion and the Blessing of Kings, wait for Kranich to build up his hand more, and then draw basically the rest of Waning Moon's deck. Looks like the way he's going to go. Clearing the whole board nicely here. South Korea needs an answer for that Tyrion right now. Whether it's Shadow of Death, whether it's a Valspine Slayer from the Ungoro pack, there are a lot of possibilities here, but Kranich needs one of them. He knows there's no equality in the deck, or actually nothing in Waning Moon's deck that he can grab from the Operative to clear up the Tyrion. So I think he just has to start by playing the pack. Needs a taunt, needs some removal, needs anything like that.
Yeah, otherwise it's just going to be close to over, especially that Divine Favor going to find a Spite-Ridge Steed or whatever they're using, Blessing of Kings.
I wonder if he's considering playing Priest of the Feast first.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They need a lot of health here. They may have a good idea that Divine Favor's in hand by now as well. It tends to be the card that lurks at the end of everything.
So risky, only 4 mana left to play whatever you draw. Molten Reflection is gonna have to be the play.
Yeah.
Look at that, 3 legendaries in that pack. I wish my packs were like that.
Yeah, tell me about it, right?
King Mosh, Swamping Dread, Sherazin. Sure.
Plenty of big stuff there and a Corpse Flower.
Right, 17 damage total from Waning Moon there with Consecration and True Silver Champion. 4 off lethal.
Important insert there. The King Mosh Battlecry destroys all of the damaged minions, and Tyrion is currently damaged. Good spot there from the production boys and girls.
Yeah, you're right. King Mosh could actually be pretty impactful in this game. Although that is a big hand from Philippines with the Divine Favor, as I'm sure Kranich was afraid of.
Yeah, and...
Now remember that Consecration you said earlier that Kranich should have picked up, and he did pick up. Looks like he is going to be rewarded for that play, as most of these cards have 2 health or less.
Yeah, as long as he can get rid of the Tyrion, which he can... Eye for an Eye is interesting. Noble Sacrifice seems good as well. In fact, all of these, as always, Repentance also seems good because you do have Tyrion. Making sure they use that weapon in case Tyrion gets killed, as well as the fact it protects their board in a massive way. Not looking at all good here for South Korea. And like you said earlier, this Paladin deck just keeps on threatening.
If that Consecration dealt 1 more damage, then this would be a very different looking board here. Swamp King Dread not going to do anything whatsoever. King Mosh would actually also deal with the Priest of the Feast, and that's the problem.
Glimmerroot into Spite-Ridge Steed. That's the out.
Okay.
I think.
Oh no! There is a certain irony to that pickup.
Is there any way they can save this? Wait. 3-13. No, they couldn't quite. I was saying Consecration would have actually put them to 13, but because the buff went onto the Hydrologist, Philippines take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, Team Philippines looking pretty happy there as Waning Moon piloted that Paladin to victory, but still a long way to go for them. We'll see what's coming up next. I believe it's going to be Handsome Guy versus Karakute.
Yep. Contrasting names there, quite amusing to me. But yeah, Handsome Guy, Karakute.
It's going to be the Paladin versus the Druid. Apparently I'm reading backwards today for some reason. Druid versus the Paladin.
Sure. Yeah, we've seen plenty of that. Karakute, her daughter, when Karakute wins Fireside Gatherings, is happy because she can have more dinner, apparently. I don't know if Kara's like starving her child when she doesn't win Firesides or what, but I don't think it's quite like that.
I think we really need to, especially if Philippines do get through to the next stage, I think we really need to see a photo, because I keep getting told about Karakute's little girl. She's 9 years old, apparently. She's adorable. It's kind of unfair that we're you know, not being allowed to see this.
Yeah, I think it's probably best, though, that way.
Yeah.
Handsome Guy, on the other hand, he has just been another Korean player who went to BlizzCon. Last season coming second, first, and first in the championship events.
Just another one.
Just 3 championship events.
Are Koreans good at Hearthstone now?
They're good at everything.
Oh, that's fair.
Korean esports, yeah, especially with the likes of StarCraft, have been gigantic, basically the forerunners of all of esports. I think Korea is considered the home of esports pretty much.
When you watch the Koreans playing StarCraft with the reflexes, honestly, I don't know how they do it. That's not even necessary with Hearthstone, though. Like, as far as I'm aware, there's very few situations where you actually need resources to play Hearthstone, yet still, they managed to come out on top.
I've seen Strivecrow one time trying to APM a Nosdomo, where he had to basically play it and then click end turn at exactly the right time to try and give his opponent as minimum time as possible. And he fluffed it. It was great. There was just buttons everywhere and fingers and things. And because of what you said, I found it hilarious. Because he used to play StarCraft.
Right,
I was
right.
expecting him to just... But no, he just went, ah! And there was just fingers all over it.
Buttons and fingers everywhere. It's not exactly a scene that I'd like to picture.
No, I guess it didn't end too well. Again, just a look at that matchup there. It is going to be the Druid and the Paladin. Paladin being played rather a lot, but Druid being played more when it comes to Shanghai.
And then, and Druid, I feel like you finally won this war, Neil, this war since the start of the Ungoro expansion. Jade Druid versus Token Druid, which is better. It looked like it was Token Druid for a long time, but now the Jade Druid has properly put their foot down and said, nope. We are the best. We are the superior Druid deck. There are more players bringing Jade Druid to Shanghai than there are Token Druid.
Yeah, I definitely won that one. Okay, so joking aside, it's about what you need on the day, and metas have slowly drifted in tournament play towards control, and Druid is the control beater. And with Rogue being rebalanced recently, I think Jade Druid is just going to get stronger, personally.
Yeah, I don't believe that's happening until after Shanghai.
It's not.
So it won't have affected that part. But that's something that will affect Stage 3 of the Hearthstone Global Games, at least the last few weeks, I imagine, and the finals. So it'll be fun to see how that changes things as time goes on. But you're right, Jade Druid is only going to get stronger.
I mean, the official announcement did say they're expecting this to allow more control decks to grow, to flourish, because Rogue is keeping some of them out of the meta. Well, if control decks grow and flourish, then Druid is just going to grow and flourish as the counter to those control decks. Again, in my opinion.
Jade Druid just going to flourish even more, yeah. You're absolutely right.
Jade's just going to blossom.
I said this to Dan earlier. It's a long day already, Neil. We don't need this. We don't need this. So Handsome Guy won HCT 2016 Asia Pacific Spring Championship. Is that right?
He won 2 of them.
He won 2 of them.
Yeah, I think he won Spring and Summer, which is why Yolsik got through, because he lost in the final. But Handsome Guy wasn't allowed to go twice for some reason. So they said, well, you better go instead, Yolsik, because somebody's got to.
Wow.
So, and Flurry actually on this team lost to Yolsik. And he's the only guy on this team who hasn't been to the World Championships. And he was obviously 1 game away. Sort of let the side down, really, Flurry.
His time will come.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will.
Meanwhile, Karakute placed 9th in APAC Winter.
Yeah, missed out on tiebreakers.
Recently, well, not recently anymore, recently when I wrote this, but won Zotac America, defeating B787 in the finals.
With honor.
So she has a lot of tournament pedigree herself. Like you said, she's always at the lands. She's always earning some sweet dish for her daughter.
Our daughter definitely likes it when her mum wins these firesides. Okay, we've got Jade Druid, and we're taking on a slow Paladin. South Korea playing Elise in every deck today.
Elise, not a card you regularly see.
It's getting a new lease of life.
It's getting a new lease of life, yeah. Oh dear.
It's all right, Dan.
I don't want to be here anymore. But what innovate, wild growth, nourish from Karakute's hand. This looks like this is lined up very well for her.
If she could see what she was up against, she would keep this entire hand.
Yeah.
Just go wild growth, then get the nourish going, play the Jade Behemoth. But as it is, just going to keep that mana ramp. And she actually won't mind this hand. It needs to develop, but the Wrath should take care of a difficult Murloc early, is how she'll be seeing this. And then you pick up one, and so will that. And then you pick up just one big minion and off you go. That is indeed a hungry crab.
Yeah, she'd be happy with this hand, I think, regardless of knowing what South Korea's hand looks like. Hungry Crab is great against the aggressive decks, and everything else is good against the control deck. She's got time to ramp up. Hungry Crab it doesn't matter what Paladin deck it is, Hungry Crab will eat up a Hydrologist at some point.
Wonder if she will coin into Wrath here. I'm wondering that she hasn't, because there might not be time to, sorry, Wild Growth, yeah, because there might not be time to play that Wild Growth going forward. But because there was no 1-drop, she's absolutely fine just taking the time. And
essentially, all she needs is Gadgets and Auctioneer, and she wins this game now.
yeah,
If she can hold on to these Innovates and Coin, which I expect she will, she has a very low value hand. When she picks up the Auctioneer, it's just game over. It's kind of disappointing that she didn't keep the Nourish, because it looks like she's going to need it. But you just can't afford to keep it against the more aggressive decks.
Right, I mean, you're just getting, you know, bashed in the face by murlocs, which is not a pleasant experience for anybody. And you just can't, like you say, afford to keep that opening hand. Now, if nothing happens here, and it looks like nothing will happen, then the Philippines are going to have some decisions to make. I think Handsome Guy may have considered the Dirty Rat there, as the Philippines kept 2 cards and haven't played them.
Right.
Like, what are they? Probably Auctioneer? I don't know. It wouldn't be Auctioneer. They probably know one of those is Innovate, actually.
Yeah,
They played the other one, which was Wild Growth.
You're right, there aren't really any big cards in the big minions in the Jade Druid deck. Yeah, there's Primordial Drake.
Now.
There's Auctioneer, but that's about it.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off a little bit there. That's a big giveaway that they don't like their hand. Instead of using the hero power to kill that 1/1, they've wrathed it.
Yeah.
Which means that South Korea can legitimately now make the read that Karakute hasn't got anything to do. And if she coins out this Jade Blossom, which she may well do because it'll give her 6 mana next turn and the turn after, now Handsome Guy has seen, you know, he'll have a very good idea what this hand represents. I don't know how that helps him, but hey.
Well, we'll have to see as we go on into turn 4. Dirty Rat gonna have to be a consideration now. Just play it immediately, it looks like. Pulls out the Hungry Crab. Bit of a shame for Philippines, but there's definitely worse cards in the deck that it could have pulled out. If it pulled out an Auctioneer and destroyed that straight away, that would have been a huge problem. Although, if Dirty Rat pulled out an Auctioneer here, he wouldn't have been able to deal with it.
I feel Korea had a strong read that the Philippines had nothing in their hand.
Sure, but if there was an Auctioneer, it wouldn't have been played yet anyway.
It wouldn't, but they wouldn't have then burned the coin on... Or they may have done, but they wouldn't have gone into the Jade Blossom. They wanted to keep the coin back, so they wouldn't have even tried to draw the Jade Blossom, I feel.
That's true.
I
can't help but feel like that was somewhat risky.
It may have been,
as well.
It's very hard sometimes to get a feel of what read the player has.
Yeah.
We can get bits and pieces, but when we can see everything, it's hard to reverse engineer it at times. It's just that Wrath for 1 gave a lot away about their hand. I'm just not sure what. And also, like, South Korea can't wait forever. If you wait forever against Jade Druid, you just lose.
Well, that's true.
Whoever you are, if you wait forever against Jade Druid, you do not win the game.
That's true. There is no deck that beats Jade Druid come turn 40 and 50.
Exactly. Because they've still got cards.
Feral Ray.
I feel like these 2 teams should have bought like decks with actual cards they could play in them, because they're just sitting there pressing their hero power button at the moment, both of them.
It would be helpful if they drew a card they could actually play, yeah. But we're still in this position. We have been for a long time for Karakute. If she can just pick up a Nourish, pick up a Gadgetzan Auctioneer, either of those cards, and she'd be golden. Even just Jade Behemoth now would be great. Just something to play on turn 6.
As a Drake, could be fantastic about now, but unfortunately that was only available last weekend in the Wild tournament.
Right.
Has anyone seen Sottle and Raven since they got hit by, you know, Sottles stealing that?
Haven't seen it.
No.
Haven't heard from him.
I think they've been flattened. Oh my goodness. This hand, I mean, the only upside of this hand is it just can't get any worse.
It can get
Earthen Scales next turn.
Again, it can get a lot better. All it would take is just 1 or 2 different cards, and this hand would improve dramatically. But you don't just go in an offensive Power Rage and deal with the Adult Peacekeeper.
Yeah, I think you have to.
South Korea must be talking a lot about what's going on in Philippines' hand. I expect that they're very, very...
I think they know that the left-hand card is Innovate. That was kept in the opening mulligan and hasn't been played. It just can't be anything else.
Sure.
So I think they'll have that one pegged if someone's doing the hand reading, which with 4 of you might as well when you're all world class.
There's a Jade Behemoth. There's a card you can actually play that does something.
Yeah, finally getting a thing onto the board, but going very slowly. So Handsome Guy will be wanting to keep this Tarim in his hand for a long time. Turning 12/12 Jades into 3/3s is better than turning 2/2 Jades into 3/3s. So unless he gets a situation where he'll actually winning the game, that'll be saved back for a while. But this Primordial Drake has sorted his hand out now. Sorry, this Curator sorted his hand out. Now he can pretty much do anything to develop.
And this Nourish has sorted Karakute's hand out. Big smile from her. Picks up the Gadgetzan Auctioneer as well. Harrison Jones will be great later on too. Okay, we are ready to get going. Next turn, Karakute can play Gadgetzan Auctioneer, Innovate, Wild Growth, draw 3 cards from that.
Whee!
And we're moving.
The turn that you love to play against when you're playing against Druid.
Choo.
I know how everybody enjoys it when they add me and tell me how much they enjoyed the experience after I beat them with it.
It's very nicely worded.
Thank you. I'm known for my pleasant wordiologies.
Okay, Harrison Jones may as well just plonk that on the board. Not going to be destroying any weapons here. Hydrologist 2, grab a secret. Oh, Getaway Kodo will be great later, so would Redemption, but you don't want to play it on the Silver Hand Recruit.
I mean, yeah, you don't have to play it now. It gives away a little bit about your hand, but it doesn't matter. Just take something you want later. Redemption or Getaway Kodo with Tyrion later on. One of the ways you win this match is by getting a lot of Tyrion.
Okay, call me crazy.
Okay, you're crazy, Dan.
I did that exact same thing to Gaskin earlier.
Okay.
Anyways, call me crazy, but do you ever take eye for an eye against a Jade Druid and then just think to yourself, okay, my opponent won't hit face until it's 12-12, I'll just let him take 12-12.
I think you can do that, but I think this situation doesn't call for it because the Jades are still small and you can actually get the board now.
Yep.
So I feel that's what they're going with this.
All right, go. No time wasted here. It's so important that Philippines do this as fast as possible.
Oh, interesting.
Because they're going to draw so many cards. Starting with the Wild Growth, okay, sure. Maybe they don't need to play both Innovates. They picked up Gadgets and Auctioneer now. They can maybe hold an Innovate back for that next turn.
All right. Loads of Innovate action now.
Jade Idol, let's get shuffling.
It's their first one, right? So they might choose not to shuffle. With only 9 cards, it will just fill their deck up with them. You don't normally shuffle until you get your second Jade Idol and your second Auctioneer, but actually, yeah, you might be right. They're so low in their deck.
And with Gadgets and Auctioneer on the board, another one ready to go in hand, I like the idea of shuffling here because then next turn you just keep drawing.
Yeah, the other option is just to not play it at all. Just... so what else do they want to draw?
They have to decide right now because if they're shuffling, they want to do it before they play the Innovate so that they don't draw it again. But nope, looks like they're not going to be shuffling this turn. Yogg-saron! That's what they want to draw, apparently.
So the reason they're not shuffling, the reason they're not doing anything is just get that deck as thin as possible. Because they have the second Auctioneer in hand, it's just going to be better with your mana to do it next turn, I should imagine.
Sure.
And they also have one generic one they'd love to draw just so they can put some stuff down.
Now, Handsome Guy gonna try and put a stop to this Jade train while he's got the chance. Like you said, Tareem is still sitting there, waiting for his chance to turn a bunch of 10-10, 11-11 Jade Golems into 3-3s. That would be great. Then True Silver Champion could make short work of the Gadgets and Auctioneer here. He's got the tools he needs to clear the board. It's just deciding which way he wants to do it.
And do you want to? I mean, do you even want to kill Aya? Or do you want to let 3 damage go face and let Aya kill herself next turn?
That's a good point. Card queue is down to 18 already. If everything here went face, should be down to 8. If True Silver Champion should be down to 4.
Of course, you know they've got double...
should be down to 2.
Right. You know they've got double Earthen Scales. You know that one's almost certainly in hand. So you've got to allow for a bit extra, but I feel that it's a good opportunity just to slap some damage into face here.
You're right. Like, getting rid of the Auctioneer was important. There was no way...
Yeah, you can't let that live, yeah. Because then you know they've got double Earthen Scales next turn because they're going to have a handful of stuff.
Okay. Been healing. Gonna heal up the Spike-Ridged Steed Silver Hand Recruit.
I like this play. Just making sure as much damage as realistically sensible goes face. And the Philippines don't have the look of a team normally who have Jade Druid against Control Paladin. They look very concerned, all deep in thought.
Primordial Drake definitely seems like a solid pickup here. Will clear away the 2-2 and the 1-1. And also the other 1-1, as there's a redemption there, and I believe the 1-1 that has the Spike-Ridged Steed on it was what died first. That will just be redeemed as a 1-1.
Right.
Yogg-saron may be worth considering as well.
Yeah, I was thinking they've got to not be too bloody-minded here. If they feel like it's easy to go, we're Druid against Paladin, we don't lose, we don't need to Yogg. Actually, you've got to consider seriously playing this Yogg.
They're not playing the Primordial Drake because they would have done that before making that trade.
Right.
If they do play the Primordial Drake now, it's just wrong.
Yeah, it's just communication error, and they are actually going to.
Oh dear. Could have dealt 2 damage to the Aya, then traded Aya in. That 4-4 would have been remained a healthy 4-4. So that's a slight misplay there from Karakit.
It is, and it's absolutely a misplay, 100%. One thing that is important, though, is they're running out of time, and it's more important to play roughly right than nothing at all.
Of course.
So there was somebody made a decision, said, look, we don't know yet, let's just do this, and yes, we'll settle for having a 4-2 instead of a 4-4 if we have to.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's the type of mistake I'd make on the ladder every day. I'm not.
But it's almost a deliberate mistake.
Yeah.
It's almost, hey, we know this could be wrong,
Just do
but
it. Yeah.
we need time. Just carry on.
Yep.
I used to do a lot of arena co-ops, and one of the big things that used to go wrong is you talk for too long, oddly enough for me, and you would end up not getting anything done, or you'd play 2 different directions on the turn.
There are some very nice directions that South Korea can take this turn, though. Harrison plus Silverhand Recruit trading into Primordial Drake, then play his own Primordial Drake, clear up the whole board, True Silver Champion finishes off the 6-6, or Consecration would do the same thing. So how much does he want to push damage? Does he want to develop a different minion on the board? Maybe he wants to play Dirty Rat and see if he can hit something else as well.
Yeah, Tarim's another option because it allows him to force through 3 to the face, clear up the board with 2 of his minions plus his face.
Not long to decide.
Because they do need to start getting some of this damage through into the Philippines. Otherwise, the Jades have hit 6 or 5-5. They are soon going to start to diminish.
Gonna go with Tarim, gonna create this big board, and I think that means one thing coming up from the Philippines side next turn.
Your favourite card? You've been waiting for this for like 13 weeks, haven't you?
We've seen a few of them. We've seen a few of them. Attacking Primordial Drake, not gonna be enough. Doesn't quite deal with
The
it.
look on Karakute's face says it all. It says, do we have to? I don't want to.
Well, Karakute, you put the card in the deck, so
Interesting decision as well, choosing whether to trade first or not. First of all, the 3-3 protects your Yogg, and secondly, it can get buffed. They do trade it in.
look at Chalk in the background.
Chalk's praising Yogg in his own special Chalk-esque way. Hunter secret there. Alright. Nope. Turns out that healing your 2/2s for 8 doesn't really do much. Should be plenty to go. Oh my goodness, how many cards are they going to draw though? Are they going to die?
Dear, that's a problem.
Chalk can't help but find it hilarious. They're going to fatigue for about 4 million points of damage here.
That's a problem. That's going to be game over right there for Karakute. Yogg did what Yogg does best. Let's see. Well, okay, all right, calm down.
And that is the Philippines eliminated from the tournament in the most spectacular and amusing of fashions. I'm sorry, Philippines, I really wanted you to do well. But if you were going to get knocked out, then you might as well get knocked out by turning all your mana into minions and then turning all your minions into death and dying from it.
That was quite a sight to behold. -17 was the health total, Karakute.
You're not winning with a -17 health total in this game with the current card set.
To clarify what Lorinda was just saying there, it is now no longer possible for the Philippines to qualify because their game score is just not good enough for them to get through as the third place team.
Are now doomed to losing the tournament.
But this series is still important for South Korea, and like with Hunter Ace in the last series, Philippines are going to want to take South Korea down with them. Next time, it's Staz on the Rogue versus Flurry on the Mage.
Yeah, Philippines already beaten Germany in this tournament, so they'll want another big name scalp, especially as, you know, this is likely to happen again next year, so probably want to get themselves into as high a position as possible. Things like you don't know how seedings are going to work next year. The better you can do, the better that might help you. You never know what's going to happen by winning more matches.
They've certainly put on a great show for us, and this show is not over yet, as Staz is going to want to pilot this rogue. I'm expecting a quest rogue. There apparently, I was talking to Gaskin earlier, there are no miracle rogues in HCT coming out next weekend. It's all about the quest rogue, no surprise. The deck is being nerfed for a reason.
Chalk there, texting Yogg, saying what he thinks of it. So you know why it's called a feedback form, right?
Okay, why?
It's because of all the food discussion that takes place in the feedback form.
Right.
And Staz, his favourite food, or his recommended Filipino dish, is a kare-kare, which I'm sure I've just said horrendously. You know, I did Google it.
Carry.
And it's like oxtail and pork hocks and calves' feet, and it's all mixed in with peanut sauce. You can basically use whatever meat you want. There's peanut sauce. Apparently there's like shrimp paste you can have on the side and stuff, and apparently it's gorgeous.
Making me really hungry.
Yeah, I know the feeling, right?
Now
I'm always really hungry.
Now
you can
I've
tell,
got a
right?
cast on an empty stomach. That's just not fair, Neil.
Yeah? Well, when your stomach's as big as mine, it's even more unfair.
Next game is going to be Quest Rogue versus what looks like a Freeze Mage from Flurry. Now, we were talking.
Oh, where's
about,
Gaskin?
We were talking about this matchup with Gaskin last night. We were having a bit of poking a bit of fun at him.
But because he's short and ginger?
Because, well, that's why we always poke fun of him.
Ah.
But we were talking about win rates a lot, and you were very much on the side of, the mage takes this.
Yeah.
Gaskin was less sure. I was somewhere in the middle of the two of you. I still think the mage is favored, but if the quest rogue can complete the quest by turn 5, I think the rogue has a good shot.
And we do have to just tiptoe carefully into this being freeze mage as well. We've seen a lot of hybrid weirdness from mages recently. This could still be a freeze mage with mana worms and such like lying about. Because why not have a mana worm in every deck? Everybody likes a 1/3 that can kill you on turn 4.
And George C's freeze mage is now running Medivh the Guardian as well, I believe. Which is a little bit confusing, so tiptoeing around very carefully, as you said. Glacial Shard, not too relevant in this matchup. Igneous Elemental is the big star here for Staz.
You've got Backstab in the deck. Backstab, Boar, Swashbuckler, Crabs, Tolvia Stone Shaper? It's polymorph. And Tar Creeper. Those cards sort of occupy about 3 slots between the 5 or 6 cards there, depending on exactly what you want in your rogue deck. But a lot of people are starting to bring Backstabs back because those pesky Igneous Elementals that you just can't kill, so you just kill them yourselves. So Freeze Mage doing Freeze Mage things, thinning out the secrets from his deck. By the way, that's a counter spell in this Freeze Mage.
Wow, way to just throw a spanner in the works there, Flurry. We've seen Korea do some pretty strange things over the last couple of weeks, so I'm not too surprised. And realistically, the Medivh Discover Mages have started replacing Ice Barrier with Counterspell. Is there a real reason that you can't do the same thing in Freeze Mage?
I mean, honestly, the way Mages develop, you can kind of... If you keep the core Alex Straza blast you for 15 concept, I think it's becoming more and more apparent you can do what you like.
Yeah.
Whether you want to grab the early game with Mana Worms, whether you want to do traditional Freeze Mage things and just keep it under control. And we are seeing people just start to do a bit of both. And now, why not have a counter spell? If your opponent doesn't know it's there, one of the reasons that Spellbender is the best hand to keep in your mulligan is because it's only in 10% of decks.
Yeah. Mimic Pods. Okay, not a bad pickup there.
Yeah, not prepping it out, so they're playing a longer game here. Quite often see Mimic Pod prepped just so you can play the things straight away, but there wasn't much going on for this deck, so they're waiting.
The thing is, time is already running out. I said that if the Rogue wants to have a good chance, they need to have completed the quest and activated it by about turn 5. Turn 5 is coming up next turn, and I don't believe there's going to be any way for them to activate it.
That said, Flurry has very little damage and no card draw in his hand.
That's true. If he just doesn't ever draw Alex Straza, then he probably doesn't ever...
Yeah, there's no bounce in the bouncy rogue deck, and there's no card draw in the card draw mage deck. So things not quite going to plan. A bit like that Paladin game to start with there, where both players just did nothing for 5 turns.
I mean, and then we just saw a control Paladin beat a Jade Druid, so I just don't know what to expect now.
I mean, South Korea have shown us that they are willing to experiment with stuff.
First ice block goes down. That's a lot of safety there with the second ice block in hand, 2 Frost Novas and a Blizzard. Flurry should be able to survive for a long time this game. Third bouncer gets picked up by Staz too.
I'd love one of these teams just to turn up and put a couple of silly healing spells in one of these, not necessarily even rogue, but one of the decks that is known not to have any healing, where the mage calculates exact lethal and just, Earthing Farseer.
I reckon Miracle
GG.
Rogue is the best bet for that.
Yeah, that's probably the best place for it. I mean, it wouldn't be a great deck in tournament play, because word would get around what's in your deck, but for a one-off HGG game, sure, you can put a tech card in. I think that's what his counterspell is all about. I think this is just Freeze Mage with a counterspell for effect.
I'm wondering if this is one of those games where the Philippines may consider using just gadgets and ferrymans to complete the quest.
Yeah, I haven't seen many of them for a while, but it was a thing at first, and then people got more efficient. But yeah, you might be right.
Play a Glacial Shard, play a ferryman, bounce the other. Nope, we're going to be bouncing Filefence, okay.
Yeah, this is usually the value way to go, but there's some damage, but still no card draw, still not a lot going on. And this will depend if they have Finance Portal in their deck or not. If they do, they may get tempted to start shooting face on turn 6 or 7 here, and then just block their way to victory.
So I wouldn't expect to see Firelance Portal. Actually, if they've given the Philippines the idea that this is just a straight up freeze mage, and they play counterspell from the hand that was
Right.
not generated by a primordial glyph, there is a chance that that could hit the secret, the quests.
Another reason that the Philippines kept that preparation back a few
Wow.
turns ago, maybe.
And that's the thing. Unfortunately, it won't actually prevent the quest from activating, as it would just prevent the preparation. There is a Firelands portal.
There is, and it looks like a good pickup. It does allow them to start on the face plan without the Alexstrasza, which is why it's important, potentially.
This counterspell does fit into the curve just fine this turn.
So if they were, yeah, for sure. If they were to take the portal, they'd have 14 damage in hand already. With your opponent's on 26, with 2 blocks available and 2 freezes available, that's worth consideration. Now, the thing that Counterspell does against good opponents isn't counter the quest, although it's been known. What it does is it forces them to play off curve. They have to play differently so that they get the quest down. So it's still an inconvenience. Even if you turned it over and said, this is a counterspell, it is still awkward for your opponents to deal with.
That's true.
And this deck is all about buying turns, and that's what it does. It buys you another turn against Rogue.
This deck is all about being awkward. It's definitely one of the ways that you can describe a freeze mage.
I thought that's how you could describe George C. for a minute.
Well, you know. Philippines still not able to complete the quest just yet. Now, in this discussion we had yesterday about the win rates here, I said that I think the Rogue has a good chance if they complete the quest before turn 5.
Right.
If they're completing the quest after turn 7, I don't know. This starts to look really bad. He's given the mage so many extra turns.
Yeah, I mean, again, the mage doesn't have that card draw, but I think that if you're the mage now... Oh, there we go. That's probably calculable now. So, obviously, now you want to play turn 9 Alexstrasza, turn 10 hit you for a load, turn 11 kill you. Ideally, you draw your other fireball and kill them on turn 10.
Yeah.
So, Frost Nova now gets you 1 turn closer to 9. You'd like that block to be up still on turn 9, otherwise you're in a world of trouble. Then turn 10, your likely players play your other block and start firing at face. Yeah, Blizzard's just a better Frost Nova here because it saves your cheaper spells to fit them in with that burn later.
Yeah, it's fine. There's even the potential of just flame striking next turn. I don't think Flurry thinks that Stars is likely to finish the quest and activate it next turn. Still only 2 out of 4 on the Bilefin there.
The decision is whether to kill the Ignis Elemental.
Right.
Normally here against, if this was just a hunter he was playing against, you Blizzard and move on with your life.
Yeah.
But there is the option just to Frost Nova, especially if you think you might not ever use both of them anyway, which they might not, the way they're counting the turns. So Frost Nova was worthy of consideration there, but yeah, he decides, you know what, I'm just going to kill all your elementals anyway.
A third Gadget Zan Ferryman. Kind of regretting not doing what I said back on turn 3 and bouncing Ferrymans now.
Yeah?
Buffin's done it just fine. 3. Okay, let's bounce it, play it again. We can finish the quest, but we're still not able to activate it, and there's still the counter spell to think about.
Yeah.
But Philippines are definitely going to be playing around it now that they know it's not barrier.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how the Philippines get this done. Look, Korea haven't quite got a locked win, but it's getting really close now.
Yeah.
Especially as we've seen backstab from Stas, there's a good chance he doesn't play boar. And if he's going to get his board frozen down, he's going to need those charge minions to set up any chance of winning the game.
Right.
All right, they're getting there now with this damage. They've got to 15 easily over the 2 turns required. Means they can now afford to actually use one of their minions if they want to as well. I don't think they want to, though. Again, it's all about not losing that block until turn 9.
I just think they have to flame strike. It's just the most straightforward way of doing it, right? Like, you prevent... So the quest gets complete next turn, but you prevent 25 damage smacking you in the face.
And you've still got your Frost Novas left over, which buy you time better than anything.
Yeah, then you Frost Nova the next turn, you Alex, you deal some damage, you Frost Nova again, and then you win the game.
They've seen the backstab as well, right? They've actually saw that got played. I don't think it got mulliganed away.
Yeah.
So they're aware as well that there's not necessarily as much bounce as usual, although that's a bit of an iffy read. They've also seen 3 ferrymen get played, so they're out of the running for more bounce. Okay, they're going to go with a Frost Nova.
They can just Flame Strike next turn. It's a little bit worse next turn because
Right.
if the quest is activated, then these will become 5/5, so Flame Strike doesn't actually
Yeah, no
do anything.
Blood Mage in hand or anything, so I would have preferred to see the Flame Strike happen there, but got 4 of the best players in the world disagree.
I guess there is the argument that Flurry just doesn't ever play Flame Strike. He can just play
Right.
Alexstrasza and then just win the game afterwards. Like Frost Nova this
Yep.
turn and then Alex and then win.
The noise on Counterspell is so upsetting. It's like computer says no.
That's what it's designed to be.
Ah, wow. Fail.
Upsetting sound for Flurry is the sound of this quest being activated. Phew! All of the 5/5.
It's far more exciting sounding noise. There's the
Second fireball.
15 damage in
There
hand.
you go.
And now it's all trivial, assuming there's no healing. There was a time that Voodoo Doctor was in this deck,
There was. It has been experimented with. Eater of Secrets also.
which, by the way, can't be played because they didn't Flame Strike.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a good point because Philippines' board is too full to actually drop the Eater of Secrets unless he were to vanish this turn and then play it next turn. but then-
They can trade into the Alexstrasza, of course,
Oh,
and make
yeah.
a space. Sorry. But I make that mistake every week. And they could just trade it away because they're not frozen next turn. Okay, Alexstrasza face. Block gets procced, hit you for 15. GG, 2-1, move on.
Yeah, Flurry has
I bring
more tools than he could possibly need now. As long as there's no Eater. Nope, that's a Shadow Step. If there is an Eater, we'll know it because he'll play Novice Engineer and then bounce it and then play it again and then play the next one.
That's what he's going for. Vanish.
So there is an Eater of Secrets in this deck then. I'm guessing.
Could be an Eater, yeah. Could be a heal. I mean, you do this anyway, right? It's because you're dead.
And it wouldn't matter because there's not enough damage for Philippines to kill South Korea on the board now anyway. If he plays the Eater of Secrets, it takes up another space on the board. There we go.
Just keep making inventions until it all stops happening. Looking for all the world like it's going to be 2-1. Now, assuming this does happen, Chalk is up next. Chalk has been a pretty lively character in this tournament, christening me APAC Dad as well. And he's got Warlock in his lineup. And they're out. And Chalk likes to express himself. I know it's a bit of a
So-
meme, but I hope it is.
So we're going into game number 4, which means that if they were going to win, they would have had to 3-0.
Yeah.
So this Warlock was never going to be an important game for them.
Right.
So yeah, what you're saying is making a lot of sense.
Just because it's Chalk, right? If it's like somebody boring, like Sottle or somebody, then maybe not so much.
Sottle is not boring. He just stole a treasure.
This is true.
Yeah.
He did indeed steal a treasure. He's not been seen since. I hope he makes it to Shanghai okay, in whatever pieces he is left in. Flurry finishes with a flurry, swirls around, gives a bit of a round of applause to himself or his teammates, or maybe to us, and is very pleased with the situation. Korea, of course, needs to win this by as much as possible because they need to do better than Argentina.
I'm sure the round of applause was for us, Neil. I'm confident. Who wouldn't want to applause us?
Yeah.
And Neil the Murloc.
Well, don't let him slide off there. We've already got one miserable Neil. We don't need 2.
So, 2 games remaining potentially for this series if Philippines can take the next one away. It's going to be Dione versus Chalk. Both of these guys actually have Warlock in their lineup, but I wouldn't want to expect anything from Dione.
Yeah, I mean, Dione may bring Warlock, but they do need to win by as much as possible, so it's less likely. Chalk, on the other hand, is a bit of a nutter, so it'll be interesting to see what they bring.
Ah, feels
The
bad.
speculation is over, and we have been let down yet again. Come on, guys, stop letting us down. It's going to be the Druid and the Warrior.
Druid versus Warrior. So now, Chalk, the first thing when I found out about Philippines, I spoke to Gia, a Hearthstone caster over there. First thing she said to me about Chalk was that he's a memer.
Yep.
took a long break from Hearthstone. He
Yep.
came back and he memed his way to High Legend with his own brand of Pirate Warrior deck. Now he's playing Warrior today. Who knows? This could be something a little bit different.
He was on your team for a while, right? Then he just vanished.
He was. He was
Just vanished off the face of the earth.
And you know, sometimes people need to take a break, right? You need to take a break from Hearthstone and the internet and everything.
Right. Yeah, I don't think he just
Okay.
moved into another game. I think he just went into another time zone or
But
something.
they always come back. I made that sound way too creepy.
They always come back.
All right, let's get this game started.
Yeah, quickly, please.
It's going to be
Yes.
Jade Druid versus...
Let's just go with probably pirates, but it could be elemental pirates.
With
You said he made his own breed of
I
stuff.
mean, I did just say that. I shouldn't really be surprised right now.
He
but
did it with this. Oh no, he's playing the same thing.
Bloodhoof Brave?
Yeah, could be a tempo warrior. Seems likely. Which means we might see all sorts of stuff going on here.
Casino Zarth and Hemet?
I mean, it's been known.
Yeah, by the other man that we see on the screen right now.
Yeah, and that's another way to meme if you're chalk, by the way.
Hey, Dione brought this deck last week.
Yeah.
I'd like to play it against him.
Sure, let's do this.
Not that he knew that he was going to end up against Dione.
So that was a Hemet Nazoth deck, right?
It was a Hemet Nazoth deck, yes. With Nazoth's first mate in too.
Yeah, it started off with Nazoth. Wow.
Watching the Netherlands, I think it was Tyler, the reactions as that game went.
Yeah, they just enjoyed it by the end. They got hammered and they just enjoyed it by the
Okay,
end.
it's a Pirate Warrior turn 1. Okay, wait, what is this deck? Blood to Ica.
Yep, this is indeed Tempo Warrior. Originally invented, created, discovered, whatever you want to say, by Boar Control. In my opinion, he made the original version way back when, about 6-8 months ago now. And then it vanished because it turns out hitting people in the face with pirates is just far more fun. But it's
Yeah.
starting to sneak back as a fringe deck.
Dragon Warrior sort of took over with the strength of Alex Strauss as champion, etc., etc. And then, as you said, Pirates just took over. But I'm very interested to see how this game is going to go. Malkarok has production of quite helpfully put on the board for us. Equips a random weapon when this guy comes down. Could be any weapon currently in the standard rotation. Previously, it could have gotten Cursed Blade, which was a bit of a problem. I don't think there are as many downsides now, but it
Yeah.
can get Molten Blade, which is just a 1/1 weapon.
You say that like a bad thing. I don't think there's many downsides now. No fun for us to laugh at as
It
casters.
can get Gorehowl, can get Doom Hammer, can get...
Yeah, I mean, it's just a good card that's gone missing because the idea of pirates is to kill people quickly, and the idea of taunt warriors is to keep playing until they fall asleep. And so Malkarok just falls in that middle ground that this deck is trying to fill right now. And this is indeed not necessarily card for card, but it's pretty close to the deck that Dione played last week with those hatchlings as well.
Will we see a Hemet then? That is the question. Well, we see Nazoth as well. Daihon Hatchling definitely seems to be a nod towards Nazoth.
Yeah, I think Dione's about to work this out. Blood to Icarus, pretty good in this situation.
Have a taste of your own medicine, Dione.
I want to see Dione's face when this Blood to Icar, if it does, which it could well do, gets played on this Frothing Berserker next turn.
Yeah.
It might not because of Wrath, actually.
Yeah, well, that's true. If we see the Wrath take out the Firefly, then it probably will, but it's much more likely, I think, that Dione just hero powers here. He's got an okay hand. He's got Jade Behemoth to play next turn.
Yeah, and he probably thinks he's up against Pirates still. He won't be sure, but we have seen Elementals in Pirates. Alright.
We have...
Now we definitely won't see the Icar, by the way, because this is well worth protecting.
We've seen Dwayne's full Pirate Elemental deck, but we've also just seen Pirate Warriors that run Firefly because the card is so versatile and so good in all of these different decks.
Okay. So Korea didn't have much to do on turn 4. So they haven't got much to do with 4 mana. I'm not saying you do this. I think you just want to avoid armor up pass. That's why I'm looking at, or flame elemental armor up pass. But if you did double blood your Frothing
Really
and it
like
gets
that
wrathed,
play. Yeah.
you get 2 2/2s and you waste 2 of their mana. But I don't think they're going to do it.
I've got to say, I really like the look of that play. You develop such a big board. It's a shame to be using it on your own minion and not on your opponent.
Yeah, they're going to do it this way.
Plays into swipe a little bit.
This is just better because it still buffs the Frothing. I'm just being stupid.
Yeah, but it does play into swipe, right? Like now, if the Frothing gets swiped, then the 1/2 also gets to.
Sure.
So many choices.
Maybe it is just better.
They're not sure, which is good, because it means that we're not being completely idiotic here at this point.
Time to make the decision, though, Chalk.
If you do it once, you do it twice, right?
I think so.
Do something, Chalk, damn you!
No, just going to do it once on the frothing, okay. Unfortunately, that does play directly into the Wrath, but it does slow Dione's turn down. Look at Dione's face, though. He gave a little laugh there.
And that is what I was saying about the 4 mana. We know there wasn't a 4 mana drop on turn 4. They have since nourished or something, but they're aware that if they Wrath here, they can't do much else.
No.
Unless they've drawn a Jade Spirit in the meantime, which they haven't.
No, exactly. As you spotted it, Chalk spotted it, and now Wrath is going to have to deal with that Frothing Berserker.
It's easy for me to spot it. I can see the hand, though, to be fair. Chalk can't.
Jade Behemoth, is that worth considering?
Definitely
instead? I think it's just a little bit scary because that Frothing Berserker could deal a lot of damage. We can see there's a Corcoran Elite in Chalk's hand. Just he could trade everything into the Jade Behemoth and then go face with the Frothing Berserker.
Yeah? I was just saying yeah like that because there's so many good choices here. And this is why Dione's taking so long over an apparently obvious play as well, because he knows there's a lot of good choices likely there. He was playing this deck last week. Or at least a very similar variant of it. Yeah, well worked out there by Chalk, basically making South Korea miss a turn.
Yeah.
On the downside, of course, it does mean that the Frothing is dead, but it would have been dead anyway to the same play, because you just Hero Power and then Wrath.
Right. But now Chalk able to just keep going. Corcoran Elite gonna just smack an additional 4 damage into the face, along with the minions already around. Dione heavily on the defensive here. Looks like his only play is Jade Behemoth. Swipe now gets picked up. A little bit late. A little bit late. Swipe plus Hero Power will deal with almost everything. But again, I think Jade Behemoth might just be better.
Yeah, Jade Behemoth seems a little bit better this time around as well, because the punish is just so much less. Yeah, they trade their whole board into it. Okay, go for it. Whereas last time it was like, oh, we might get smashed in the face by the world's biggest Frothing Berserker.
Right. Gonna still play, I guess, the slightly safer play. Swipe, deal with the slime there. Next turn, Primordial Drake is a thing, and that feels like a sturdier body. It feels like a safer play. At least the Trailblazer.
At least the Trailblazer.
Can't play that with Hemet because you destroy the pack.
Yeah, you can play it after you play your Hemet, of course. And then you think your deck out, and then you draw the pack really quickly.
Right.
I don't know if that's how it works.
It's like a less efficient Shadow Visions with the Elise pack.
No, Dione is now completely and utterly mind-boggled, so I don't think he has any idea what's going on, even though he was playing similar last week.
He's mind-boggled, I'm mind-boggled.
And I'm always mind-boggled, so it's absolutely fine. Dione's expressions resembling those of Tyler's last week.
Right.
It's like he's learned.
Like I said, taste of his own medicine. Dione, been around for a long time. He won the HCT 2016 Winter Pacific Championship, beating Handsome Guy, his teammate in the Hearthstone Global Games.
Oh, Handsome Guy got beat at something. Oh, yeah, in the one final that he lost.
Yeah.
Before he won the next 2.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Pretty ridiculous team, South Korea. No wonder Raven picked them.
Well, unpunished.
I mean, yeah, it's just like, oh, let's just go for the guys who've got 3 World Championship players.
Yeah, I mean...
It's not brave, is it?
That's true, that's true.
Well, you went for teams that were like 7-0 or something.
My team were 2-0 when I picked them.
Okay.
That was my...
And my team, one of my teams has been eliminated just now.
That was my blood doing the talking. But yeah, you've still got Greece. Greece looking a bit dodgy. Norway looking like they're out. It's a Gaskin's pick. Canada, Rob Wing's pick, looking like they're out too.
It's all started to fall apart, really.
So Raven certainly unpunished for picking South Korea.
Meanwhile, the Philippines are developing a huge board. This is what Tempo Warrior did in the olden days. This is what presumably it still does now.
Back in your day.
Is it just plays a value pick on every single turn.
Yeah, and Malkarok looks like it's going to fit that turn 7 very nicely. Let's hope for an Arcanite Reaper, Gladiator's Longbow, something that deals 5 damage. Oh,
how about 7 damage?
7 works too. Now Dione's not looking too happy. Oh boy.
That's just a gore howl.
I wish we could see Chalk. He's there in the room with the rest of the Philippines.
Yeah,
I'd love to see some reactions.
He's definitely been working out.
Yeah, he has. It's true. It's quite a tan he got too.
All right. South Korea trying to get to that point of the game where their Jades take over, but they've just made a 2-2 and a 3-3. That's not taking over.
Yeah, they need to get a little bit more of a handle on this game. When Aya comes down, things will start to look a little bit brighter for them. But King Mosh!
Why not?
Chalk is running King Mosh. There he is. We can see him now.
So presumably that gets played with Whirlwind.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you just wipe out a load of Jades at some point.
Why not?
Why not indeed?
Battle Rage now seems very solid. Let's draw 2 more cards. I want to see more of this deck, to be quite honest. Gorkron Elite, yep, alright.
Ravaging Ghoul kind of works with King Mosh over 2 turns.
Yeah, that's true. If you're desperate. It deals with a lot of big Jades, I guess.
Chalk's just finding this incredibly amusing, as I must admit, am I.
How does Dione come forwards and like just get this board back? Is this the Aya turn? Gets a 4-4 when it dies, gets a 5-5.
Is that too slow though?
You can wrath away the 6-2.
You get hit in the face for like, how big is the weapon now? 5-1? I think you just lose if you play Aya. You have to earn the scales like a 3-3 or your Aya to get.
Well, you can Aya and wrath away the 6-2.
Sure. All right.
Ravaging Ghoul plus the weapon is 10-11.
Yeah.
It's getting close though.
It is getting close, but you're right. They're gonna have to do that.
And if Donny wants to play it really safe, he can earthen scales up the 5-3.
Hang on. How much is this with the Ravaging Ghoul? 5, 10, 11, 15?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And they've got the Acolyte of Pain as well if they want to just draw loads of cards and gain loads of armor. Hit. They won't go face with a Gore Howl, obviously, if they play that play. They can hit for face for 5 with the blah blah blah, the Bloodhoof Defender.
Yeah, brave.
Brave Defender, brave. He's brave and he defends things. I don't know what to call him.
You're not wrong.
Armor, cards.
Sean of the Dynamo Hatchling. That's not the most game-changing card draw there, but no surprise to see the Gorehowl going face. Sure, Armor Smith can go in. Why not get the value trade?
Yeah, the little bit of armor from these Whirlwind here as well has just allowed this Gorehowl to not be too punishing for Chalk. If he had taken all of this damage all game with no armor gain, he'd just start to be looking a bit awkward himself. Look at this board. It's called Tempo Warrior. This is how it works. You just keep the tempo going all the way through the game.
Okay. So, I think it's just go time. Jade Behemoth feels safer, but with Auctioneer, you can play Auctioneer, draw 3 cards, then you can earthen scales too. Oh, Dione disagrees. He wants to play it really safe.
He's so close to dying. I'm not sure this makes that much difference to that though.
Depends how much work this one taunt can do, really.
Enough for now, I guess.
Yeah. So,
Oh.
Acolyte can trade and then King Mosh can do it.
Yeah. And Mosh is huge. It's not just destroying things. It's actually just
It's
a
a
big thing.
It's a 9-7, right? I think. I've got to admit, I haven't played the card myself.
Disappointing. Yeah, gaining 7 armor as well. That shows how scared they are of this situation.
And Auctioneer plus Wild Growth on its own is a little hand refill, so that's fine. No reason to hold on to the earthen scales, really.
So they can clear if they want to, right? They trade in the Gorehowl and the Ghoul into the 3-6, trade in the Acolyte, trade in the Cork. I don't think they want to do that, but they can. They get a clear board with a King Mosh on it.
So they start by trading in the Acolyte, I think, before making... Oh, wait.
Yeah, it's messy. Like, if you want to do it, if you want to clear, it's really ugly looking,
Yeah.
but you do clear.
Okay, well, you could just leave the 5-5 out.
Yeah, you might do that.
Trade the Acolyte into the 7-7, then play...
And see where you are as well. You just draw your card and see what's happening.
Berserker.
Because it must be tempting just to... yeah, you just Mosh.
Yep, I don't mind King Mosh at all here. You get rid of the 1 minion that can contest this.
I think I needed about 37 mana for my play as well.
Ah.
Which should please everybody watching.
That'd be a problem. Oh, 2 wild cards. All right, Danny can pretty much draw the rest of his deck then.
Could do with Innovate, though. Without Innovate, this isn't going to be the best.
Power Rage isn't playable. I guess it's another Wrath here would be fine. Swipe, not good enough. One more chance.
Yeah, now he needs
Spirit. Nope.
stuff to happen. I don't know if there's stuff happening enough.
Now he needs Innovate and Wrath here. Again, he's got 3 chances. Nourish not going to do anything right now.
This is going to be really close because the Philippines' next turn is looking really powerful.
That's still not Innovate.
So, a whole bunch of things you can do this turn. I'm always tempted to just say, let's watch what happens, because a huge Frothing Berserker is one of the options.
He's got 16 damage, and Dione has 20 health, so it's not quite lethal just yet. You're right, huge Frothing Berserker is worth considering. Chalk probably needs to get rid of that Gadgetzan Auctioneer. In fact, probably needs to clear away everything, actually. So,
Does he?
So let's see. Drop the Frothing, trade the 9/7 into the 4/4, trade the Corcoran into the 5/4. I think that sets up the best board.
The other choice, but I don't think it works out for him, but he's got to try and calculate it, is whether he can just stick a Corcoran behind a Direhorn Hatchling and stick everything in the face and say, Druid, you don't have much removal, you have a whole bunch of Jades, they're going to be too slow. You've used both of your taunts.
We've seen 1 Earthen Scales, right?
Yeah, I think they have to get rid of the Auctioneer. I'm
That's
almost
the
sure they do.
problem, yeah. Earthen Scales with Gadgetzan Auctioneer is just wow, and obviously the Jades ramping up is such a strong combination.
They might just trade the 4/3 into the Gadgetzan and stick everything else face. Yeah, okay. Making obvious plays. I like it.
Execute, sure. Keeping the 9/7.
Yeah, just a whole bunch of damage. Deal with that.
Second Jade Idol. So Feral Rage is armor gain. Swipe deals with the Frothing. It's just about enough to survive for now, I think.
Got to survive and get rid of this 9/7 though.
How much-
You've got 2 turns to kill it.
Our Jades are on 7/7, so nourishing into an Earth Scales is 8 armor. This is 8 armor too.
Yeah, this is going to make some big old Jades. That's the way to deal with stuff. Got to think about this. Did he shuffle? I don't think he did. He needs the tempo, but if he yeah.
He just doesn't win if he shuffles, right? He needs to win in the next 5 turns by just creating huge minions. There's the Whirlwind that goes with the King Mosh you were talking about earlier.
No way of getting rid of these minions without trading. Can only defend against one of them with a hatchling.
That would have been better too, because Whirlwinding hitting the Acolyte, Acolyte draws a card, Acolyte then trades in, draws another card, and then King Mosh.
Oh, it would have been ridiculous.
It would have been a significantly better play. But Chalk just can't quite cross the finish line after all of this. I think that Dione's going to take this.
I think you are right. You're in a fantastic spot now. It depends what's on the top of Philippines' deck as well.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen how much damage this deck can put out. There might be a natural Gore Howl in there.
Yeah.
You know, there might be an Arcanite Reaper that could get through.
Grom with Whirlwind, right?
There could well be a Grom with Whirlwind, yeah.
South Korea, though, are able to nourish into probably an Earthen Scales. They can Jade Spirit and then gain 10 armor with that Earthen Scales. I believe they've only used up 1 so far.
Yeah, they've still got AJ Spirit. I think that's good. They know the contents of their deck exactly. I mean, you always do. With 5 cards left, you can start planning, is what I mean. On the verge of a 3-1 victory. Well worth taking their time over.
How are we making these trades? 8-8 goes into 3-6, 7-7 goes into 9-6 the way I see it. Trying to work out if you need to nourish. Maybe they're afraid of fatigue because they haven't shuffled.
That's the other problem, yeah. I think working a lot of things out in this game. There's so much going on.
No Earthen Scales, but Feral Rage is going to be handy too. That is risky.
Yeah, I don't like it. Because I think you're right. I think Grom lives in this deck.
All right, Chalk has an out for lethal now. Gromash would do it. That's not it.
It's not it.
And that's probably going to be his final chance to draw it too.
Right, because they will Feral Rage or Primordial Drake, each of which will stop the board next turn.
Yeah, and we're just getting to lethal, I think. Chalk armor's up, but Feral Rage is only going to be a few off lethal. 24 damage, I think. So, Chalk will be on 26 health.
Yeah. All a bit sad.
Well, that's one way to deal with the Jade Golem.
But he does armor up, but it's looking like a formality. Primordial Drake will just make sure that Grom can't kill them. The Scales will make sure that Grom can't kill them.
There it is. What a way to end the game now. I just like Primordial Drake plus Earthen Scales here. Maybe just Feral Rage plus Earthen Scales too. I guess Primordial Drake isn't necessary.
Yeah, and the Philippines have provided us with a lot of entertainment and colour in this event, but they are finally going to fall at this round of 24. Struggling when it came to this incredibly tough group with Argentina, Korea and the Netherlands in it. Most countries are going to be fourth best in that group.
They've definitely, as you say, they've definitely added a lot of colour. They've been entertaining to watch right from the very beginning. It's nice to see Chalk sending them out in style. Daihon Matriarch not going to do enough to allow them to survive. Hang on, just about does enough to allow them to survive. Just about.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking to hit with a Grom, I guess, in fatigue. I don't know.
Well played.
But yeah. The well play goes out.
My fact. I'm out of cards.
Creator, not going to do much at all right now.
It's not, you're right. What can they draw then, the Philippines? Nothing, I think.
The menagerie is for guests only.
Well, Dione absolutely can't draw anything.
And of course they were forced into playing that Ida. If they hadn't done it, they would have lost this game, I think. So can the Philippines find removal for enough things? Ungoro pack! We'd forgotten about the pack. Go Philippines, go! I've written you off. Come on. What can you do?
Lyra! That's not going to do anything.
McCaw. Lyra into Whirlwind, into...
Just McCaw for the beast that deals 26 damage. Yeah, that'll do it.
Ah.
Sad boys.
They've got so many options. McCaw fetches things. Stonehill Defender fetches things. Stone Shaper sits there, gets in the way. Lyra fetches extra cards.
This is a decent pack, actually. It's a very strong pack, if only Chalk had more time to utilize it.
How well do you know your random effects? Which one gives you the best chance of getting something that gets rid of this? You get an execute, it's not good enough.
Do any of them give you any chance of doing this? No, you can't get an execute from Lyra. You can only get pre-spells.
Oh, it is actually pre-spells, yeah, of course. So you can get Shadow Word Death, it's the same thing.
Yeah, just a little bit more expensive. Too expensive, in fact, I think. Oh, just about good enough to deal with the temporary.
And Chalk, taking it into his own hands, jumps onto the Curator and gives up. And Dione and Korea will have a very, very, very strong chance of going to the next round. If Relox's numbers are correct, and they usually are, that will be enough, even if the maths goes against them in the other game.
Yeah, it's just when you've got 2 wins in this stage of the Hearthstone Global Games, most of the time you're through regardless of games.